Hello, my name is Mary McLeese, and I'm presenting a leadership challenge, The Disengaged Employee. Once upon a time, in a land called Engagedica, there was a queen named Integra. Integra ruled her land fairly, justly, and ethically. All of her people felt important, worthy, valuable, and most importantly, engaged in the sustainability of their kingdom. The people worked together and produced the most prosperous crops in the land. In a neighboring kingdom was a land called Disengagia, and their leader was King Inepticus. The king was new to the throne and therefore did not know much about building a cohesive kingdom. He thusly ruled carelessly without regard to his people's needs. His people were suppressed, unhappy, and struggled to feed their families on a daily basis. This lack of compassion for his people left his kingdom doomed for failure. King Inepticus soon experienced corruption all over his land. These leadership differences are not uncommon in today's business world. Leaders of all kinds are struggling with immense challenges to keep their employees engaged in their organizations. This presentation will explain the problem of disengaged employees and its challenges. It will further explain how disengaged employees can bring legal, ethical, and social problems to an organization. It will then evaluate the challenge using an ethical framework to solve the problem and explain the benefits of using Viterbo's core values. Leaders today face challenges in their organizations that range from increasing their bottom line to the contentment of their employees. When leaders ignore actively disengaged employees, it can be detrimental to the growth of the company. In fact, according to the Gallup Business Journal, actively disengaged employees, the least productive, cost the American economy up to $350 billion per year in lost productivity. A disengaged employee is non-committed and not proactive towards the business and its growth. The journal defines an actively disengaged employee as cave dwellers, consistently against virtually everything. These employee types tend to spread their negative attitudes across the ranks. Their attitudes can be the seed that hinders productivity of otherwise engaged employees. Actively disengaged employees will be the cause of a problem rather than a solution. So what causes disengaged employees? As listed on custominsight.com, some events that can lead to discontentment are lack of communication and direction, being asked to do something unethical, inconsistent pay between similar workers, sacrificing personal or family time, company performance uncertainty, and disengaged managers, which can lead to poor relationships between employees and their managers. The website also states, "We are not looking for ways to make people happy, but rather we are looking for ways to stop them from being unhappy. Addressing the things that cause disengagement won't immediately lead to engaged employees, but it will make those disengaged employees less disengaged and get them pointed in a more positive and productive direction." The impacts of disengaged employees can be seen socially, ethically, and legally. When employees are disengaged, they show signs of employee deviance, which can be detrimental to businesses. These deviances can lead to increased turnover, absenteeism, and loss in productivity. Disengaged employees affect the norm of an organization. These employee types spread rumors, show hostility towards coworkers, and impact others negatively. Disengaged employees are rarely ethical in their behavior. They tend to take advantage of the employer, excessively long lunches, they leave early, they waste and abuse time, and time is money to the employer. Disengaged employees can bring legal implications to an organization as well. According to the Journal of Business and Psychology, employees that have intent to quit, dissatisfaction, and company contempt made significant contributions to the prediction of theft. Other legal activities could include drug use, espionage, and even physical abuse. As a manager, leader, or owner of an organization, who wouldn't want engaged employees? If you're not engaging your employees, they will only put in their time instead of themselves. Schlafly, Solanova, Gonzalez, Roma, and Baker define work engagement as a positive, fulfilling, work-related state of mind that is characterized by vigor, dedication, and absorption, as cited by Van Beek et al. When employers have checked-in employees, they have employees that are emotionally engaged to the success of the organization. Ralph Steyer, CEO of Johnsonville Sausage, stated in his book, Flight of the Buffalo, Soaring to Excellence, Learning to Let Employees Lead, he writes, "I realized that if I kept doing what I had always done, I was going to keep getting what I was getting." This was not enough for the CEO. He began to look for ways to change not only the employee interest, but also his management techniques as well. Engaged employees are empowered by their work and are driven to work, not forced. Engaged employees are creative, persistent, marketers of the firm, recruiters, ambitious, promotable, civic-minded, and mentors. Joanna Brandy, a customer care coach at Customer Focus Consulting, lists 9 ways for managers to engage their employees, and they are: view each employee as unique, meet employee workspace needs, communicate your expectations, show interest in each employee, provide conflict resolution training, request employee feedback, keep success stories alive, and refrain from negative stories. Give meaningful rewards, be consistent. Brandy also states, ultimately managers must keep in mind that employees are a company's greatest assets. Some people are naturally wired to give their all and do their best, no matter where they work, but the majority of people require guidance of skilled managers who welcome their ideas, ask for feedback, and generate enthusiasm. Each employee is motivated differently, learns differently, and communicates differently. It is important for managers to be able to develop each engaged employee's potential through real communication. On March 14, 2012, Greg Smith, executive director for Goldman Sachs, published his resignation letter in the New York Times. He said, "The interests of the client continue to be sidelined in the way the firm operates and thinks about making money." This was a very public blow to the company, whose stock dropped $2.15 billion after his resignation, according to NBCnews.com. This article was of interest because this is a great example of a disengaged employee. This disengagement is due to the change in values and beliefs that Smith and Goldman Sachs used to agree upon. When an organization takes the path of company loyalty over client satisfaction, their ethical employees will be left behind and feel compelled to right their company's wrongs. Benefits of using Viterbo's core values. Contemplation is reflecting upon the presence of God in our lives and work. This can help managers and organizations to keep their values and morals at the forefront of their lives while providing an ethical workplace for their employees. With hospitality, it means welcoming everyone as we encounter as an honored guest. If managers can see each employee as honored, that treatment can spill over into the customer, vendors, and shareholder relationships. Integrity means striving for honesty in everything we say and do. This is where organizations need to walk the walk and set the example, the ethical examples, for their employees and society. Stewardship is practicing responsible use of all resources in our trust. This area helps organizations to be sustainable. Without taking care of our resources, there can be no continued success. Service, working for the common good of the spirit of humility and joy. This value keeps organizations grounded and happy with their existence. In conclusion, this research presentation has opened my eyes to the astounding challenges managers face to keep employees engaged. I feel communication is one of the most important ways to engage employees. By communicating with employees, it builds trust, security, ownership, and enthusiasm towards the company. As a manager, I know I need to be able to present new information to employees via different delivery methods to keep them engaged. I recently took a class presented by our in-house software trainer, and she introduced us to a learning model created by Neil Fleming called the VAK model. VAK stands for visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Visual is about, and this is all about how people learn differently. People who learn visually do it by seeing and writing. They tend to take a lot of notes. Auditory people learn by hearing and speaking, sometimes reading aloud. Kinesthetic learn by experience and doing the actual act, or by demonstrations. The purpose for this exercise was to show us that she tries to incorporate as many of the various methods to cater to all of us in the class. After taking the quiz, I realized how differently each one of us is, and that as leaders we need to get to know our employees to give them the best delivery methods we can to keep them engaged. Thank you.